Hello Virgo, welcome to your monthly forecast. I'm Nicholas Ashbaugh. This reading is for the month of October, and as always, you can use it for sun, rising, and moon. Let's get straight into channeled messages. This morning in dreams, one of the clear images that came through, and it was a little unusual, was I kept seeing sort of through someone straight to the skeletal system, just the bones. As I look at this symbol, there's a couple of things that come to mind. First of all, in our own body, bones are a form of protection. They're foundational, and they give us what we need to go through this lifetime. So as you're looking at people, places, and opportunities this month in particular, you want to get to the bones of the situation. In a relationship, you either feel the support or you don't. If you are constantly having to hold someone else up or sort of be their supply of energy, then that relationship doesn't have the quote-unquote bones to sort of like take you the distance. You are constantly having to be the foundational element there. If there's a job or opportunity and it just seems like you can't get a commitment, right? There's no sort of solid ground. The same sort of energy is coming through there. So don't force someone to commit. Don't force something to work. There should be this reciprocity, balance energy, and foundational energy on both sides. If we take a look at the Wildwood Tarot, there's this really interesting image here of the Guardian, which is another card for the devil, and it's basically a skeleton in the closet. And I think this month there could be something that comes out into the open. It could be someone showing a side of themselves that you didn't expect. It could be something that you need to share with someone just because it's a burden that you're carrying. We all have skeletons in the closet. We all have things that, it takes us time to feel comfortable, to talk to other people around or about. And I think this month is a chance for you to kind of let down the walls, allow yourself to be more authentic, and to use, you can look at this as a skeleton or a skeleton key. And when we are vulnerable, when we are honest, it often opens up a new path and a new, deeper connection with someone. And then we can really see someone else for who they are and also be our own authentic and best self. Just one more thing before we go into the cards. Of course, this could also represent just taking care of your health. And when we look at the skeleton, some of you may be dealing with healing from an injury, maybe a broken bone, or maybe you're getting elective surgery, or we're just focusing on things like posture and stretching and building strength, or looking at calcium in the body. I can take it literally when we're looking at something like that as well. So whichever one of those resonates, that message is for you. Let's go ahead now, take a look at the cards here. I'm going to use the deck that I already featured just because I was drawn to the imagery. And let's see what October has in store for you, Virgo. Please close your eyes. And if there's anything that you're bringing into this reading, any thought, concern, etc., acknowledge it and then release it. And focus instead on a blue sky. Imagine that you're looking up, and as far as the eye can see, there is a blue sky free of clouds, and you just feel like you could see from here to infinity. Rather than putting yourself in a box or worrying about anything, let's focus on possibilities. Let's continue to explore all options. And with that intention being set, let's welcome in angels, spirit guides, and ascended masters. And of course, connect to your own highest inside as well. Gently open your eyes, and let's begin. Haha, there we have the Guardian in the deep past. If he's going to show up somewhere, we'll take him in the deep past. All right, let's go ahead and continue to expand this. Actually, we got a bonus card here on the outcome. So give me a second. All right, let's begin with your catalyst, Anima Mundi. The catalyst basically helps us focus on what matters most. I love that in the catalyst, you're basically getting the star. In this particular deck, which is an oracle deck, this is the last card, and it represents the kitchen sink. You can see everything here. And there's a phrase that Kim Krantz, who developed this, said, which is like, accept all, reject none. So basically keeping the most open mind that you possibly can to all possibilities, which is what we were really talking about when we set intentions, interestingly enough. That's what this is all about. So also accessing all of the experiences in your life and realizing that they've brought you to this point, finding your own sort of compass and true north. So there is a star underneath all of that stuff. Here's the one thing that I would say. I'm all for being open to whatever might come, but I think it's important also to get some organization and some clarity. What's lacking here is it's a little chaotic. For those of you that are creative, you may argue, Nicholas, creativity can be chaotic. Sure it can, but there has to be a moment when all of those pieces come together. So maybe you're at the point where you're just sort of like in the flow of energy and creation. Go for it. But if you are feeling overwhelmed or confused, take a moment and get organized. I'm also picking up on that. And then take a look at everything and see what resonates the most. This is not about necessarily having to eliminate stuff. It's just about organizing it and seeing the pattern. And that's what I'm interpreting, even on top of what this card represents. And then we can connect to the star power, which is also right in alignment with what I was saying with going beyond the surface and just being your authentic self. The star is all about authenticity. So the bone metaphor is also about that. What are you at your core? Are you resonating it? Are you aligned with it? If you're not aligned with it, what can you do to find that connection? Let's look at the cards. Now, I counted, it's about a 50-50 spread between upright and reversed. So this is a recalibration month for many of you, and I'll try to help you with each of the cards do just that. Let's start with the center. It is upright. It's one of the most powerful cards. It's the beginning, right after the Fool, I should say. We have the Magician, but in this deck, it's called the Shaman. He looks really cool. I kind of like the way that she's illustrated him. But Shaman also carries with it something a little bit deeper, a little bit more sacred than even the Magician. One thing that I'm picking up on here is ritual, practice, habit. So creating something that can easily be adopted by you and become a part of your rituals, your good habits in your life, all of that is coming forth here. This is also about feeling your power, really believing in yourself, especially when or even when someone else doesn't see it or tries to dismiss it. So that's the first thing that I'm picking up on here. You can pretty much do anything you set your mind to this month because the Magician has one of every element in front of them, and it's more about discernment, belief, and focus. So if you can connect with those, I really feel like you're off to a fantastic start with the Shaman. Let's see what's crossing that. Well, it gets even better. We go up a level here. So we have an upright Shaman, and then we have an upright Seer, or basically Magician and High Priestess. The High Priestess is about now saying, just what I was talking about, I've seen that, I know that, now I'm really going to do it. She sees how it's going to get done. She's the ultimate sort of project manager, if you will, and also, of course, psychic. This is one of the most psychic cards in the deck. So I really want you to trust your intuition on anything. If it feels right, go. If it doesn't, hit the brakes and go in another direction. If you feel like you need to talk about something, inquire, ask. You don't really need other people's advice or sort of like confirmation because you've got everything it takes this month. Take time to reflect. She's looking here in this mirror. It reminds me of the in Lord of the Rings, Galadriel, where she puts the water there, and it's basically the same sort of thing. So it's taking time to reflect on your emotions, on present events, tuning into what's possible, and figuring out what you're going to do about it, okay? Definitely creative energy, boss energy, and psychic energy coming through. And the fact that we have these two at the center, it could also be a really great time to partner up with someone. This is an ideal pair. They both have complementary skills. They can help each other out. They believe in one another. So you may also be finding a really great helper therapist, friend, love interest, or again, business partner that's going to bring it to the next level. So that's very auspicious. Well, I was wondering if it would come through in the spread, and it did, and it's coming through in a good position. If we're going to get the guardian, aka the devil, let's get it in the deep past. Now, the devil has a lot of different connotations, so let's break it down. One of the things that the devil reminds us is not to limit ourselves by thinking, this won't happen, or I can't do this. So that's the first message. The other thing is, if someone else is unable, unwilling, or uncomfortable with connecting with you, basically they can't give you what you need, so be it. That is basically them showing you that this isn't the right connection, this isn't the right time. This is also a control card, and ultimately you may be in a position now where you are willing and ready to hold your ground, stand your ground, and not let someone take away your power or intimidate you. Because one thing that I love about this devil card versus the other is, maybe it seems a little scary at first glance, but it's just bones. Like, you could just take a piece of wood and break this down and there's nothing there. So a lot of times our fears or anxieties are nothing but a stack of bones, right? So I'm happy that it did come through, and especially in the past. And then, of course, you can listen to what I talked about earlier, and just if there's a secret that's being kept, whether it's in a friendship or a family, this is a month to sweep that out of the closet, to clear things up, to clear the air, and really just speak the truth. Because the thing that this particular energy hates the most is truth, authenticity, transparency, and accountability. So if you engage with any or all of those, this is going to dissipate. And it really is a past karmic lesson that I feel you are ready to release. As we look at the recent past, now we have two cards here that are swapped in this deck. So we have Strength over here in Hopes, Fears, and Opportunities, and we have Justice over here in the recent past. 8 and 11 are usually different in Rider-Waite-Smith, but let's just talk about it where it's at, and I'll break it down. So in the reverse state, the stag, aka Justice, is no. It's saying it's all right for you to simply speak up and say, I don't want this, or I don't like this, or this doesn't make sense. And in many ways, Justice is the perfect foil to the devil. It's going to come through and say, you're acting a fool. Of course we're not going to do this. It's the voice of reason. And that's also the key to success this month. So rather than going, the devil wants you to get emotional. So instead of getting emotional, lean into your facts, into things that can be easily demonstrated, and use that. So this can absolutely overcome this, and it's just about cutting through the nonsense, holding someone to account, and that's going to be the key to your success. Now, this card was reversed, and we see the stag holding a drum. And I think that one of the other things here is just acknowledgement or encouragement from Spirit that you may need to march to the beat of your own drum, whatever that might mean for you. But someone else may not like what you're saying. They may not like the fact that you stood up and said, I don't think so. But in this moment, it's okay. It's exactly what you should be focusing on. So that's what I see here. Let me see if there's anything that's unique to this particular card here. The other thing that I see is the axe. And I mean, that reminds me of the sword in Justice. Sometimes you have to fight for something. It may not be easy to get, but it's probably worth it. Pick and choose your battles, obviously, but if it's something you really desire, or if it's something, a matter of like right and wrong, that's what this is about. Now, when we're looking at these two together, this is also just about contracts that weren't good enough for you in the past. So either you were underpaid or underappreciated, or someone didn't follow through. So what we're looking to do in the month ahead, as you look at new contracts, you're going to connect with your power cards, which are all upright here, the shaman or magician and the seer or the high priestess, and really make it work. You're going to wave your magic wand, which is going to be like a pen or a pencil, or you're going to type it, and you're going to say, almost there, close but not quite. And you're going to ask for what it is that you want. Because we have right here the Ace of Arrows or the Ace of Swords in reverse, which is a revisionary card. So it's a great time to circle something, edit something, push it back, contracts are made to be revised. You always have a chance to do that. So if you need to revise it, revise it. All right, there are choices to be made. Let's talk. In the crowning position, we have the Two of Pentacles. The caption reads challenge, and we see a couple of jackrabbits or rabbits here, kind of like fighting for resources or fighting for attention. I actually kind of prefer this over the traditional Two of Pentacles because it's telling you what might be the challenge. This could be family members, this could be coworkers, this could be opportunities. Sometimes they feel like they're equal, but there's going to have to be a choice this month in order to really make some headway. So it's good, if not ideal, to say yes to one and no to another. This is also about finding proper balance in your life. With the card in reverse, you may be struggling or fighting to create that balance. Again, it could just simply be as easy as standing up and saying no, or I need help with this, or this isn't right, just calling attention to where the lack or the imbalance might be. Because now we have two cards there that represent balance. Again, easier to see when you look at this particular illustration. The traditional Two of Pentacles shows someone trying to catch their balance, but suffice it to say, these are two cards about achieving better balance in your life. When it comes to money, time, and energy, don't overextend yourself. That's the other takeaway there. In the near future, we have the King of Wands coming through with a lot of snakes on it, and it represents power, ingenuity, being inventive, being clever. All of these things are attributes that you are able to embody and possess this month and really kind of like use to your advantage. What I do love about this is we have like the snake pit at the bottom, and we have one snake at the top that's choosing not to get sort of embroiled or wrapped up in other people's business or issues. So being able to rise above any challenge this month, rise above your own emotions as well, and also just lead by example, especially when other people just aren't doing their best, right? Whether it's in communication, in just day-to-day sort of interactions, you may be asked to sort of set the tone. And interestingly enough, when you don't meet someone's energy, like let's say they're low and you increase your frequency and show more empathy, make it more palatable, more easy to engage with you, suddenly it kind of like they don't know what to do and they may recalibrate and meet you at the level. So that's the big encouragement here is, absolutely it's good to start a conversation off understanding that someone may be upset or frustrated or whatever, but then you're going to set a new tone of, but it's going to be okay, and here's how, and here's why. And that's where you can be really strong and really powerful, really effective this month. King of Wands is second only to the Emperor card in his ability to be a strong boss. So you're definitely embodying boss energy. The challenge is this. There's a lot of other people that may be vying for attention or might be trying to get you kind of wrapped up in their stuff. So know when. This is where it's important to kind of engage with that justice energy. And basically, if I can find the card here, just say no. Justice in reverse is cutting through that and saying, that isn't what we talked about, or this isn't what I want to do. And instead, you're going to be the King of Wands that you are. All right, let's go ahead now and look at what you're showing up as and its potential here. Ace of Swords. This one also says the breath of life. Because this card is reversed, I think one of the key sort of messages right from the start here is just to slow down, take a deep breath, be as present as possible. And if there's something that you're carrying, this would be like an exhale, let it go, or speak up, speak about it. Like I said with the devil doesn't want us to talk about things that are wrong. The devil wants us to sweep it under the rug or put it back in the closet. So this is about doing the exact opposite. I mentioned that this Ace of Swords can represent like a pen or pencil or highlighter, and you're going to actually show what needs to be changed and how, and you're going to stay very constructive, very positive. You're going to use information to back you up rather than emotions, and all of these things, again, are going to basically reduce this to a pile of bones. This is about being succinct, direct, and clear in all communications. Again, it can be a no, just like Justice reversed. The only thing that I'm looking at specific to this beautiful deck, which I'm glad I chose today, is you're allowed to change your mind or change direction. So this arrow pointing down could be deciding to go back and fix something or finish something, or you might be deciding to explore something else. So there's something about the direction in which you're headed that may require a slight recalibration or adjustment. Whatever gets you back into this, opportunistic and authentic energy of Anima Mundi, we want to go back into that. About not closing a door. This is about opening as many doors as possible. So if someone's trying to shut you into something that you don't want to do, or somehow kind of block you, you're going to find a way around them. And this is also about making sure that they don't kind of mess up your aim, your focus, okay? So don't lose your focus. In the environment, we have the Ten of Pentacles in reverse. Let's look at it in the upright position for a moment. When I saw this, the message that came through is where there's a will, there's a way, especially because we're looking at something through a portal or through a doorway. It's also no accident that you got the High Priestess and the Magician here. And that's also, I think, why Spirit was hammering in on that idea that if there's a will, there's a way. Now, one thing that's interesting is there's a stark difference between this modern interpretation and the traditional one. What we see in the traditional card is people, animals, children, co-workers, a lot of different types of connections, as well as all of this growth. And what we really see in this one is potential, space. And for many of you, this is an invitation to create some space in your life. And also a reminder, if something isn't immediately around you, whatever it is that you seek most, because again, if we look at the traditional card, it could be friends, it could be a job, it could be money, it could be love, this can be marriage. Whatever's missing, that doesn't mean that it's not coming or that it's not within reach. This card is about focusing and saying, I know what I want to do, I know how I'm going to get there, and I'm not losing hope or focus. And I think that's the key thing. This does mention home. With this card in reverse, it might be about reorganizing your space, getting settled if you're in a new space. I can relate to that. It might also be for some of you about looking for a new home if you've outgrown it, especially if you've decided to grow your family, or maybe the children are gone, or you're newly single and it's like, I don't need as much space. Sometimes downsizing can be liberating as well. So something shifting in either work or the environment that you're living in. And either way, we were talking about bones and stability. Sometimes when we add space or reduce it, it can create more stability, because if you don't need as much, why have oceans of space? Save money, save time, save energy. So again, I just wanted to highlight that for those of you that might be deciding to downsize. Okay, let's look at what's going on in Hope Spheres and Opportunities. So here we have this very unique Strength card. And the interesting thing here is there's a little bit of shape-shifting energy going on. The card came through reverse, but let's look at it in the upright position. So as I said, in this deck, 8 and 11 are swapped. We have the Woodward coming through here, and we see this individual that basically is wearing the sort of cat skin. And I mentioned I was seeing beneath the skin, and I was looking at something else, the bones. And in this case, we're seeing someone that is showing up one way, but is really something else. So again, there could be a reveal energy coming through. I'd like to take a moment first, though, to look at the traditional Strength card. And this can also have to do with control, just like the Devil card can. And so one of the things that you're learning to do is to release control, let people do what they need to do, whether it's a child, a partner, a coworker, someone in your life where you feel like I constantly have to push. You don't have to push. Give them space and let them kind of do what they need to do. This is also about taking care of your body, your energy, supporting yourself in whatever way you feel like you need to be supported. And in doing that, you're going to have much more to give in the long run, because it all starts here. You have to make sure, talking again about firm foundations, that everything that you're doing for your own body is going to take you the distance. I'm just getting one more message here, which is when we talk about a home that has good bones or good stability, I'd love for you to take a look at the sort of like the construction documents if you're buying a new house, and make sure that everything is up to code and that you're looking beneath the paint. So maybe even if you're looking at a place that you might be renting or buying, just kind of scratch your finger, make sure that there's nothing beneath it, or look underneath the sink. There may be some, or look in the closet, since we were talking about the skeleton, pipes, all the stuff that's not normally looked at. So again, other things like turning on the faucet, turning on all the lights, making sure that, again, if you're not renting, if you're buying, that you get a good inspector to look at all of that. There may be something that needs to be fixed or addressed before moving forward. And that's important. Ultimately, this is reclamation of power, and it comes here in the beginning with the other one. Again, it's sister card because it's swapped. Saying no, standing up for yourself, and really showing your true colors. What I do love about this particular deck is it shows divine masculine instead of some sort of struggle between divine feminine and masculine. And what we really see here is kind of the melding of the two, so there's no more struggle. They're kind of one and the same, and that's what we see in this card here as well. So it might be breaking down gender biases or other biases in your life and just sort of saying, no, this is who I am, and the other stuff is just a facade. It doesn't matter. Focusing on the core of something. We have two cards here in the outcome. One that kind of flew out at the end, the Three of Swords, which is really about healing, and the healing is coming from the past or from financial matters for some of you. You might be, so this is the reverse card, the Five of Pentacles. We see you sort of kindling the flame here, starting anew. We can see the distant storm that some of you might have just weathered. And this is basically about releasing this from the past. So if it was a setback, a failure, or someone who came through and said, you can't do this, this little kid is saying, I think I can. I know I can. I'm going to do this. And it's a stark contrast to the original one where they're out in the cold. So in this one, you're finding your fire and you're rekindling it. And there's a little bit of healing to be done. It could be a bruised ego. It could be something that just didn't go the way you wanted it to. There could also be something more substantial. This can also be sadness or depression. But whatever it might be, you have the tools to chip away at this, because what we saw here in the form of the King of Wands is showing me strength, resilience, flexibility, literally with the snakes. And so give yourself time and lean on the support of others if you need to. Three of Swords on this deck also has the word jealousy. And so if there is, for many of you, I feel like you're on the precipice of success. So if there's someone around you that's jealous, they're really just exhibiting this devil energy and having a hard time letting you go. So allow yourself to be happy. That's really what this card is saying. You deserve to be happy. This particular Five of Pentacles also has endurance as a descriptor. So I feel like in this moment, you can endure anything. You can get past this. And what we see, the core of this reading being about right now is powerful manifestation energy at the center, reclamation of power and fighting for what's right, choosing what you need to. And then there's a choice here of where you want to go next. This 10 of Pentacles in reverse can also be a projection from family or friends of what it is that you need to do. You get to decide. You get to kind of map it out. Let's go a little bit deeper into the expanded forecast where we look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. We're going to start off with the energy of health first. And we have a beautiful card here, ancestors, spirit guides, spiritual growth and awakening is what we see here. But you may also be healing the ancestral or familial pain from the past. While we're talking, I will find the traditional Five of Pentacles. It's right here. All right, so this can just be someone who didn't show up when you needed them most. Mom, dad, sister, teacher, brother, etc. And sometimes we get stuck in that energy of, but you should have, and I deserve this. And this month, it's really about releasing that and thinking, but in this moment in time, I don't need or want to repeat those lessons, and I'm strong enough to move beyond this. This is also about not repeating a family sort of history when it comes to possibly money. So you might be smarter and more sort of like protective of your money, not overspending, not sort of like forgetting about the future. So this is a good time, by the way. Even though we're looking at health, it makes sense to look at will and trust planning, to look at the health of your finances, and to make sure that that takes away one of the levels of stress that you might be carrying. All right, there's a few things that I'm seeing just in the cards here. First and foremost, for many of you, I just want to congratulate you on the hard work. The devil in the past can represent overcoming something like an addiction or maybe even getting out of a bad relationship or a bad job. You were able to free yourself from the shackles of the devil energy, and that's something to be sort of applauded. But there could also be a little bit of a trigger that comes through this month. It seems to be more of like an emotional one, or just a thought, a passing thought. Talk to someone if that comes up. That's what this is about. Speak up and lean on the support of others, okay? But for most of you, this is something that is very much in the past. What I am seeing as a challenge, and this could be what creates a trigger, is just general balance in your life. I'm going to pull the traditional cards here for a second. So we have Justice and Two of Pentacles here. This is about simply saying no. You might decide to not hang out with somebody because this is following the devil. So it could just be simply declining an invitation. It could be also speaking up if somebody is doing something that is disruptive or destructive, and you're just saying this isn't what I stand for, this isn't good. This is about not overextending your time, your energy, or any of your resources. And because we have all these balance cards, there could be other things that you want to look at. Balanced diet, balanced exercise, enough sleep, basically making sure that all parts of your life are getting proper care and balance. Also, for those of you that either have a partner that is traveling or you're traveling a lot, that can lead to sort of inconsistencies in sleep. There may also be, again, some financial things that you're trying to bring into order. I do think it's going to find that sort of eventual balance, but be diligent and, again, speak up as needed. This could be also like I'm getting like an acute or sharp pain for some of you. I was being shown the bones earlier, so there could just be one bone out of alignment or something like that, or a bone spur or something of that nature. Obviously, I'm not a doctor, so you'll work with a professional if that's happening, but that's what I see with this one little point. Clean and clear your house for those of you that haven't done so in a while. Downsize or reduce clutter if you can. The other thing to keep in mind is the Ten of Pentacles can be friends, family, and peer pressure. And when this card is reversed, some of you may be feeling pressure to succeed, pressure to sort of like say yes to things. And we talked about the importance of being able to say no. So the people that are close to us or know us the best often make it the most difficult to decline something, even when we know it's for our best interest or our highest good. So know yourself and don't be afraid to speak up as necessary. Finally, these two cards definitely are aligned with health. This is, again, giving yourself permission to be happy, making sure that you're healing your heart space. But it can also just be good heart health, cardiovascular exercise, looking at blood pressure, blood sugar, and cholesterol. And this can be a cold or flu. Also, for some of you, when I was mentioning surgery or recovery, it would be in the feet. So making sure that you're taking care of your feet. In this particular illustration, she has bare feet. So change your shoes if you haven't done that in a bit. Okay, let's go ahead and move on from health to wealth. This is resources, life purpose, and career. You have a reverse card in this area. Let's go ahead and turn it upright and talk about it. It says, my faith has the power to turn trauma into healing, conflict into growth, and fear into love. It's just the power of transmuting things through thoughts. And that is also something that El Diablo doesn't want. So let's talk about how you can do it. For those of you that watch my videos a lot, we go through this procedure, but let's just repeat it right now because it's coming up. So it's okay to have a fearful thought. We just don't want to feed the fear too much. So if you think to yourself, I'm afraid of failing, what if you succeed beyond your wildest expectations? If you're afraid of delays, what if tomorrow everything happens and you're not ready? So we want to look at both ends of the spectrum. Prepare for best and worst. You don't have to release just it's okay to have those thoughts. Fear is actually a survival technique. But what we start to do then is say, but I'm going to make room for things to be better. I'm going to educate myself and ask others for help. I have support, I have information, I have options. It doesn't have to just be that. And so we're making room for other opportunities, and that's really what this is. Faith is key because faith is what empowers the center two cards, the Magician, which came through front and center, and then the High Priestess, which crossed that. You have to believe in magic for it to really happen. You have to believe in yourself for others to do the same. And yes, what doesn't kill us makes us stronger, the trauma piece into healing. I think that if I look back at all the experiences in my life, I know that I'm stronger, kinder, and more empathetic because of the challenges I've been through. So I don't regret them, and I probably wouldn't change them. Conflict into growth, fear into love. So the conflict into growth, this is what I was talking about with rising above, with the adder card here, the snake on the top that is basically not taking the bait, that is going to show people how to do it the right way. And that's what you can start to do in the area of wealth this month. Don't give in to the fear. Don't give in to the low morale. Rise above. We're going to break this down into 3 categories: those that are working, seeking employment, and then students and retirees. That last piece is so important for everybody, but especially for those that are currently employed. For many of you, there may be things out of your control. Try though you may, there could just be poor management, poor structure. And if this is the case, this is the foundational card. The bones are here in the foundation. They're buried beneath. It's time to take a second look at that. So I'm not saying anything that some of you don't know, but if you've been sort of ricocheting around the idea that it might be time to move in a new direction, for those select few that have been thinking that, I agree. And it's just a matter of creating, the safety net that you need and the path that you need to get there. I like the connection of people around you. And I think you have to balance out a few things. What's legally right for you, the resources, you have to have enough to be able to make that move. And if you're not going out on your own, then just have that next job in hand before deciding to move in a new direction. Now, for those of you that are happy with where you're at and you want to make some necessary changes, here's what I see. It is important to get things in writing. This card lacks follow through and integrity. So there could be someone in your life that just kind of shakes your hand and says, we'll make this work, or this is going to happen, or you can count on me, but you can't. So that's why this card is here. So if there's something that you need or want and possibly have earned and deserved, then get this into writing. Whatever that means, whether it's performance reviews or some sort of, if it's a job offer, you've been freelancing, you're trying to make this permanent, whatever it is, get it all in writing. That's the first piece of advice. Other things that I'm seeing with respect to just general jobs. Let's say you're employed, you're happy, nothing is really bothering you right now in this moment. I see a lot of stuff that's on your plate. The 10 of Pentacles in reverse can be people putting more than they need to, lack of balance. The important thing here is to delegate, because the devil can actually be over-promising, over-committing. And what happens then is not on purpose, but you basically end up disappointing people because you can't make it happen. This month, don't commit to the stars and the moon. Just commit to what's reasonable and surprise people by overperforming, but you don't want to overpromise and underdeliver. Make it the reverse. Underpromise and overdeliver. So just be more conservative in your obligations and your commitments across the board. And the other thing that I see here is, for many of you, I do think you're going to be able to get through whatever challenge might be in front of you, but there is, for some of you, something that's taking you out of your focus. This particular 3 of Swords might also be related to something going on in your friend or family sphere, because that's what's coming through as the sort of energy sync here. So trying to keep a fine line between your personal life and your work life, making sure that business isn't interfering with that. We'll look at that more when we go into relationships. All of those things are coming through as potential messages here. So whatever resonates, feel free to take that. What I do like, and this is a kind of glittering gem here in this spread, there's 2 actually. Your leadership and your ideation and ingenuity, all the things that we talked about earlier, it's coming through loud and clear. And the Strength card, even in this illustration, is able to conquer any sort of challenge that comes across their path. So I feel like you're set up for success, but you might be dealing with people that don't always keep their word. There may be a lack of funds or resources, and so you have to sharpen your pencil and find a way. And that's the final thing, is that maybe everything's okay, but the money isn't where it needs to be. So people are leaning on you to have some cost-saving ideas. And those are the main takeaways that I'm seeing here for those that are currently in a job. The other thing, this is particularly for those of you that are in a creative path, a client may want to throw in the kitchen sink, because that's what this card is. And you're going to have to try to pull them back from that and say, I know you want to do all of these things, but how about we try this? We can always add, but it's hard to subtract, and try to kind of like keep them from overdoing it. And that's usually a rookie mistake too, or someone that just is lacking experience, where they're like, okay, let's make the logo bright and outline it and do this and do that. And it's like, but it's too much. Simple is better. So less is more. That's the takeaway there. For those of you looking for work, can you find it? Yes. What I see is, for some of you, a confidence issue from the past. So this Five of Pentacles here and the Devil card definitely connect. There is a fear of like repeating something from the past, but I'm not necessarily seeing that happen. I see competition. This particular Two of Pentacles shows competition for resources. It may be down to the final two. What you want to do in the interview, if you land that interview, is make sure that you're positive in your communication. So this top snake is basically not going to take the bait if someone asks for complaints about a previous employer or tries to gossip. These could all be tests, and you're going to rise above and say, rather than that, I think we should talk about this, or I don't really want to air any dirty laundry. I'd rather talk about this company, this opportunity. I think that's better. If they may ask you like what your strength and weakness is, make sure that you give a real strength and weakness in that particular situation and that you're honest. But otherwise, take the high road and try not to talk too much about the past. Leave it in the past because you want to show also a sense of loyalty or decorum at the very least. Let's see what else we're seeing here. For some of you, it could be difficult to chip into a new environment. So I actually see you landing a job, but you might have a difficult time feeling at home there. Give it time, be strong. What I see here is potentially people that have learned to be on guard because they're protecting themselves. So I'd like you to do some research again on company morale and what's been going on before. Has there been any sort of like layoffs or staff reductions? Because that also can create that sort of clique environment that I'm picking up on there. But yes, you can find a job, but there is competition. It's all going to come through in being able to think on your feet, be positive, and speak positively. Those are the main takeaways there. And if there is a contract presented to you, definitely have a lawyer look at this. Ask questions. Redline it as needed, like circle things that don't make sense. You have negotiating capacity here, but it may not be everything. You're not going to get everything you ask for. But if they try to lowball you or if it's insulting, take that also as a sign, because that's someone who isn't ready or willing to meet you on the level. Because you are very much on the level, but maybe they're trying to make you think you're worth less. So be strong in your negotiations and base it on facts and figures. All right, as we take a look here at students, I really love that we have the shaman and the seer, or the magician and the high priestess. I feel like you're in a really good month to absorb everything. You might have one or two classes that are really kind of igniting your passion and connecting you to what you're really wanting to focus on, and that's fantastic. Keep up with that. There may be a little bit of homesickness because home is in the environment here and it's reversed, the Ten of Pentacles. I think for some of you also, there could be this might be the first time you're really connecting with being in control and kind of like focusing on making the decisions. So the Devil here in the past is showing that you're liberating yourself on some levels, which is a good thing. The big challenge for you, though, is energy and time. The balance that we had talked about here could be off a little bit. So everything that I talked about for those that are working actually kind of applies here. Don't overcommit. I do think that the friendships that you're making are key right now. So I still want you to engage with student life, but be smart about how often you're hanging out. Make sure that you're staying on target and focusing on what matters most. And your health could also, it's really important to take time to sleep, eat, and exercise well. It's not always part of the curriculum, but your tarot coach here is giving you that to basically help you out, because I don't want you to get a cold or a flu. Ultimately, your trajectory is good. That could be the only thing that could take you off the path right now. It's running yourself down. So I feel pretty solid about where you're at. Just don't deny yourself the necessities like sleep and exercise and food. All right. For retirees, here's what I see. You're in a really good zone right now. You can make anything happen if you want to with these two power cards here. Everything I just said for student applies to you as well. So I would say make sure that you are taking care of your health, particularly heart health. Some of you may just be on a rebound too. We're going to look at love and relationships here in just a moment, but I think that what can help you as you're healing through possibly a loss in your life or a partner that has decided to, divorce you, what we see here is an influx of friends, family, and new people. So really the focus should be on creating new connections in your life. Some of you may also be downsizing or moving into a new home, and that is coming through as well. All right, let's move on to love and relationships. We already kind of hit upon that a little bit there, that some of you are seeking new connections. So we have connect to source. Go within, discover what needs to be done, create the shift to attract what you want. The card is reversed. To me, this is like a big Ace of Cups in the reverse state, and it's basically saying emotionally and energetically, possibly even from an inspiration standpoint, there's something missing. The partner's not going to provide it. You have to create that for yourself. Going back to the original imagery of the bones, this is also saying that on a structural level, you're just kind of like building yourself up to be as strong as possible, because then and only then are you really able to call in the type of partnership that you want. It's a powerful card to come through there. So really beautiful imagery on that, but I really love that. Connect to source. So we actually get the keys to how to do that right here at the center, because meditation is what the High Priestess does best. The magician can get involved in arts and crafts and creative endeavors and sports and activities. So connecting to source, however you feel like you want to do it, absolutely. Okay, let's now focus on three major categories: those that are in a relationship, seeking love, or single and happy. For present relationships, money could be a major concern, or just time and energy, because that balance is, we have the scales reversed, then we have this sort of fighting for attention. You may also feel like you're vying for your partner's attention. Maybe they're working a lot, maybe they're just spending a lot of time traveling, they're not home, whatever it is. Hopefully you can get to a place where it's not a fight, it's more of a conversation, and you could just say, I need this in order to feel supported, or I need your help on this, especially if there has been less than an equal sort of division of support in the partnership. One thing that is coming through in existing partnerships is something from the past. Maybe it's something you didn't know about your partner. Maybe there is a person from the past that's coming up, or maybe you're just both dealing with something that's out of your control. So if it's something that hasn't been talked about, the great way to handle this is to say, I'm so glad you told me now. Please don't hesitate to do so in the future, but we need to talk about this. So now you've normalized that it's safe. You have expressed interest in wanting to talk more, and you've kept the lines of communication open rather than reacting and immediately getting angry. You could even just ask, why did it take so long? Is there anything that I could have done to make it clear that this was a safe space? So something like that. There could just, again, be something else that's out of your control. This could be a health challenge that you thought was under control and it pops back up, or someone from the past that you thought was gone, now they're back. And the good news here, though, is that you have the support, hopefully, of your partner to help out with that. So truth, honesty, and clarity, and keeping the communication open. That's really, really key. Talking about money in particular, this could just be debt, student debt, or something else that you didn't think was going to catch up with you, and it did, and your partner now is finding out about that. And so be honest about that. It could also be a struggle to expand the family. So this 10 of Pentacles could be wanting to buy a house, wanting to start a family, wanting to get married, especially if you've been together for a while but haven't done that. We're seeing the pressure here. But is it because you both want it, or is it pressure from friends, family, and society? That's something to talk about. The other thing that's coming through is this sort of energy of who's the boss, who's in charge. Because if we look at the cards, especially if we put the traditional ones here, justice and strength, you see two really strong individuals that are used to getting things their way. We see that energetically you're pretty even as well. So this month, it may just be about meeting in the middle. It's not about forcing the partner to see it your way or giving in to their sort of demands. It's about trying to find that even space where the two of you can co-create, because that's what these two cards do, Magician and High Priestess. So if we can get there and we're meeting on the level, things are more powerful than the back and forth. There could be someone holding a grudge here as well. So if there was something that was said or done, and again, it's coming out now, an apology goes a long way. And also just trying to support the partner and maybe not fix it. I remind people of this all the time. So if it has nothing to do with you and they're just going through a moment, all you have to do is say, what can I do? Do you just need someone to listen? Can I help you out? Help me understand what you need from me. And then that way you can be the best support possible. All right. For those of you that are looking for love, There are a couple of challenges at present. First and foremost, there could be some health hiccups here. So make sure that you are taking proper care of yourself. If you're sick, that you're putting all the energy in getting better. I think many of you are resource and time sort of deficient. There's a lot of stuff going out, but there's not a lot of space to sort of like create the relationship or enjoy it. So you need to focus on clearing your schedule and making sure that your health is where it needs to be. If all that is in order, then we have the 10 of Pentacles and we have a Leo kind of coming through here. So yes, this person wants to settle down though. These two cards are really strong. Literally, this one says home, and you can just see the strength and clarity and sort of like stoic nature of this. So yes, you can find something, but be careful. This person is perhaps even more ready than you are to settle down. And I think it's important to get to know them, particularly since this came through in the past. If there is an X that comes through, maybe a Libra, because we have the Justice card here, that X is meant to be in the past, very much so, particularly because of the Devil card. They can't really give you what you're looking for, and this person may be wanting more than you can give, so it's about finding the happy medium. And that might be the King of Wands. There's a fire sign. The one thing that I'm seeing is a lot of options, so be discerning, be clear in your manifestation, like what you're trying to bring forth, and also when you're talking to someone, clear in your expectations, and that's going to make it easier for both of you. All right? For those of you that are single and happy, good for you. I think it's a great time to be single and happy. You have the potential right now to launch anything that you want to with these two power cards at the center and this power card as well. So we have the ability to manifest, the ability to see, the ability to lead, all of these put together, you can really set anything into flight that you want to. Challenges at present are really about how many people might want to connect with you. So limit your access if you can, and focus your energy and intentions, and that's going to give you the maximum sort of potential in this moment in time. All right, let's move on to destiny. We have the goat here, and it says reliability. Now the goat energy has like a different connotation, like greatest of all time. So one thing that we're seeing with goat is just basically that you have that ultimate energy, if you will, like the King of Wands or the Empress or the Emperor or the Star, which we kind of got here in this Anima Mundi card. So see yourself as the goat in that respect, but this goat also represents reliability. It's hard to read it because it's so small. Now, interestingly enough, now we have some clarification. There could also be a Capricorn coming into your life. The traditional Devil card is connected to that. I don't need to pull it up, you know that. But it has a goat on it. So the fact that we have the goat here is also just an indication that there could be a really strong Capricorn. We like Capricorns. They're great with business. They're good partners. And this could also be a really great energy coming forth. It's also a call to you to be grounded and more reliable in your own life. And that's going to attract the same energy as well. Okay. Let's go ahead and go a little bit deeper into sun, rising, and moon sign messages. I'm going to give the cards a shuffle, and we'll see what's coming through. Okay, sun, rising, and moon. Starting with the sun sign, we have the Queen of Wands, and she is reversed. The important thing here is to listen. Look at those ears. Keep an open mind, but also really validate that what you read, what you heard, or what you interpreted was accurate. And if someone else didn't interpret it correctly, explain it clearly without any sort of, having to push any energy out there. Just say, oh, no, actually, this is what I meant. That's it. You do not have to, like basically what we talked about earlier, we're not going to meet someone's lower energy. We're going to bring it to a higher space. Also, you could get inspiration just by listening to a podcast, going to a seminar, reading. You have this ability to absorb things quite a bit right now. So stay open to learning opportunities as well. This is a bossy card. There's no two ways around it, especially when she's reversed. She's basically putting a line in the sand and saying, this is how it's going to be done. There are times and places where that's perfect. There may be a moment where it's good to listen to external feedback. So you'll have to decide when to sort of be more open and when to be the ultimate sort of boss energy, which is the Queen of Wands in reverse. Okay, moving on to rising sign. Six of Pentacles, achieving balance. This is really nice because the outcome for everybody here was 5 of Pentacles. We see endurance. We see this ability to rekindle or to kind of rebound after a challenge. Part of the way that you can do that is by being discerning. This is the 3rd balance card. In the traditional card, we see someone holding the scales and people with hands outstretched. In this particular illustration, it is just the people looking at you. That means you're the source. You get to be discerning and decide how, when, and if. This also tells you that simply by making good choices in your life, you'll have more time, more energy, more resources, more than enough, basically. More is the name of the game on this. And the scales are tipping in your favor. And honestly, at this point, with 3 different scales cards, I do feel, or balance cards, it's all about a balancing act, but you'll make it work, because that's one of the best things about your sign, is being able to be creative, being a good leader, and just finding a way, okay? So all of the balance messages from before, but also with this, just knowing that everything within reason. Typically with 6 of Pentacles, you can get what you want, but the timeline may be stretched a little bit. So be open to that, and then I think good things await you, okay? Now let's go ahead and move on to the moon sign, and we have the Page of Swords in reverse, speaking up. And also making sure, just like the Queen of Wands had big ears in this particular deck, that your listening skills are absolutely activated. Not having, what I'm also getting on this is crossfire. 2 people talking at once, or 2 people that are having like an internal dialogue and they're not listening to each other. Slow down, ask questions from both angles. Did that make sense to you? And then if someone says something to you that doesn't make sense, say, I'm hearing this, is that what you meant? Really work on making sure that there are no miscommunications, and that's going to be key. This is a great time to put the pen to paper and write stuff. If you put, we're not just talking about a contract, but we're talking about goals and like vision boards, and really even just the dialogue in your head. As long as you are thinking in an affirmative way, you have a great chance of manifesting, particularly because thoughts are power this month, Virgo, and we have 2 cards about manifestation. So when you think something, it has a way of coming into existence, and you really want to be careful and use it to the best of your ability. Let's go ahead now and take a look at one last card here. This final card and final question is a chance for you to get all your questions answered by Spirit. So if there's one thing that I didn't have a chance to answer, go ahead and close your eyes. Ask Spirit for the guidance. I'm going to shuffle, and we'll see what's coming through. We have the Fox, and it is the Knight of Wands. The card was reversed. This is about, there's a couple things here. First of all, if there's someone in your life that thinks that they're more clever than you, maybe let them think that, and then you can take them by surprise when you show that you know what they're talking about, right? Also, this is about not underestimating people. So the flip side is true, not to sort of like, not to get too, the only word that I can think of is cocky, or too comfortable with like, I'm going to be okay, or this is all settled. Always be open to interpretation, to new ideas, to different ways of thinking. Again, keeping an open mind and not underestimating who it is that you're talking to. Knights in reverse, they slow down. They think it again, think it through. There may be a better way. If this is a yes or no, it's saying give yourself one day to think about it and recalibrate, because there may have been a stone that you didn't sort of move, and there's an idea underneath that. So leave no stone unturned, leave no resource untapped. Really give yourself a chance right now to dig deeper. And that's back to the channeled message. So yes, almost, but do yourself a favor and do the due diligence of exploring all options before committing. And that's what I see with this, okay? That, my friends, is everything. If you enjoyed this reading, do me a favor. Existing members, please like. And if you've never subscribed before, consider subscribing, because it helps the channel grow. It helps other people find the video, and it lets me know that you appreciated this. You can also leave a comment below and let me know what is resonating, what you're going through. I read every comment, and I appreciate it. All right, if you'd like to follow me on social media, it's always my full name as spelled here, Nicholas Ashbaugh. No additional characters, no other accounts. All of the main accounts can be on my website. You see that link below, or I should say they're listed on the website, so if you have any question, you can go there. They're also on the main channel page here on YouTube. if you ever need more information, here's just the direct link there. Remember, I don't offer private readings. From time to time, people will pop up on different social media networks pretending to be me. A key giveaway is they'll try to message you and they'll ask you for something in a direct message. Block, report, let me know about it, and thank you for your due diligence on that. If you would like to give back, you can do so through super stickers, super chat, and memberships. All of these help me rebuild my studio, do more videos like this, produce future podcasts, and just make awesome things. So thank you for your support there. And let's go ahead and do an Apollo cam moment. He's just sleeping in the background, looking so sweet. I hope that you enjoyed today's reading. Thank you again for your time, for your presence, and for being the best part of what I do here on YouTube. Wishing you the absolute best, both Apollo and I. Hope to see you again soon. Check out my daily, weekly, and monthly videos, all on my main channel page. Until next time.